Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Shem El Shai, Bashim Rakakadash, don't want to see apostles and elders, great millstone of the well. And Shalom to the brothers and works in truth. Yeah, just want to do a quick vid about how, in the present times, you're going to have people, talking about Jake, you're going to have among Jake, people going to be feeling that, the intensity and realizing that, times are done changed up, man. Times are getting different. And they're going to be like, they're going to basically be looking for some form of security. And, some of them might be like, oh, okay. They'll kind of be looking to, they might have heard about the word or whatever, and they were looking to jump on it. But then, depending on the time, depending on the mercy of the Lord, it's like, it's like if you're 2/3, then it's not to be so. And that's that's just how the Lord's just how the Lord set up. So Psalms 110:3, it says, "Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of the holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth." Yeah, so thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. Basically, because it's becoming clear, the Lord's sending His Spirit out in this place, and it's very much, it's clear we're in that time, the time of the end, when His Son's getting ready to make His return, when His judgment's getting ready to be felt on the earth, man. It's full capacity, and for that as well, in that period of time, it's gonna be a time of tribulation for Jake as well, where they're gonna catch all kinds of hell. So as they're gonna be feeling like the intensity turning up, and they might just be like, looking to get with the Lord. But there's also this, Isaiah 6:9, it says, "And He said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their ears, and hear with their ears. No, see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed." Yeah, so the Lord's got an angel going out, which was sent to blind and to deafen, man. Basically, to give 2/3 of Jake inaccessibility to to the word, man, to the capability to hear and understand the word. Because why? Otherwise they'll convert and be healed. And because their job is to get judged, man. Their job's to get jacked up and punished, man. And that's how cold it is. And that's why it's like, you're gonna have Jake that are gonna be winning, but the Lord don't want to deal with them. The Lord ain't willing to sup with them. So then they're gonna end up destroyed, man. They're gonna get jacked up. This is what then said I, Lord, how long? And He answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land utterly desolate. Yeah, so it's gonna be, these guys are gonna be deafened and blinded until the destruction's taking place, man. And that they're gonna partake in it, and they're gonna get messed up. And that's how cold it's gonna get for guys out here, man. Because the Lord is basically, he's building up men to as He's I believe Ezekiel. The okay, there comes a fire. Okay, let's try tabernacle with men. Oh, okay, yeah, Revelation. Revelation 21:3, it says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. Yeah, so the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, man, and that's why it's not gonna be women that are gonna be, the what's the word I'm looking for, man? Women aren't gonna be the defense against these times, against all the tribulation that's going to come against Jake. It's going to be the man, and that's the role that's been set up. That's how the Lord set things up, and it's only in recent times you really had everything just going completely out of whack in the way of madness, man. We read this, Isaiah 32:2, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Yeah, so the men are going to be the ones that are basically going to be immovable, steadfast, enduring against the hardness, man. And that's where the Lord's basically going to put a covering over their the families, the wives and children of those men, you know. But it's not gonna be, there ain't gonna be no women out there that just steadfast, them strong, in the myth of that strong independent black woman that doesn't exist, is ain't gonna be out there. It's the Lord's gonna have his men set up, man, and it's gonna go back to them what they call barbaric times, where men would just be grabbing up women, war would occur. Men would have to basically be hardened to a certain extent to survive. And that's what the Lord's building up his men to, man. He's building up his men to to basically be able to endure through those times. Why? Because it's gonna be hard. And the Lord's basically building up men that are capable of that are gonna be the leaders, the heads of Israel, man. That rule the top heads of Israel. So and by extension, the earth, man, the kingdom of heaven, gonna be ruling over all nations, man, multiple planets, all that. So the Lord's basically having them built up on levels, man. Isaiah 13:9, it says, Behold, the day of the Lord cometh both cruel with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the star of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause their light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Yeah, so the Lord's going to be going in on all levels, man. And that wickedness is among Esau, among all the other heathen nations, among Jacob as well. The wicked and evil upon the earth are going to be getting judged heavy, and it's not going to be a small number. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Yeah, so men are going to be the men of Israel, those elect men of Israel are going to be refined and purified, man. All these events, that hardness that we're going through, that we'll endure through, Lord willing, with the elect, the hopeful elect, those elect men will basically endure through and be refined by that process, man. So when they, when you get raised up and get your crown from Yahweh Shai, that and you get that new body, man, you've earned it. Just as how Yahweh Shai had to go through his tribulations, his trials, his hell, to then be perfected at the end, and receive his crown, and his position at the right hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and that's something that's a concept that's kind of been lost in modern society, man. Modern society is very feminine, because it's about that comfort, it's about ease, it's about trying to minimize stress and hurt and pain, man, which is a very feminine way of approaching, man. And feminine means what? That minus faith, man. That faithless way, where you're basically just indulging in pleasures, which is a very simple way of approaching the world, man. So it says, what therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. And they every man shall turn to his own people, and flee everyone to his own land. Yeah, everyone's gonna depart out of the system, man. The system of Babylon that you see is burning presently, man. This whole system, this, the so-called greatness of the West, is becoming more and more evident, as you're seeing, like, through Brexit that's just gone through, and then, like, shortly after Brexit went through, you see in America where it's like this so-called great system of democracy is crumbling. These examples are then being seen by people, and they're like, yo, that's a mess, man. They're just looking to fuck off, man. A lot of people I talk to that live in countries outside of that Western influence, they're basically saying like, yo, but over there where they are, it's going way cooler, way easier than it is over here, man. It's really the West where that squeeze is being felt, man, because that's the lion's share of where these plans of the elites are taking place. Anyhow, so that says what everyone is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Yeah, so any of them that are still stuck in the mindset of that system, and that's really going to be chiefly among Jake, man, because Jake have been they're now in that homeborn slave mentality, man, where they've basically their only identity in existence is basically one that factors in as a member of Babylon, man. They only see themselves as Negroes, African Americans, or whatever the hell. They don't really see them. They don't know. They've completely disconnected from that Israelite identity, and that they fight and rail against it, man. And they've invested in this whole system of Babylon, man. So it says everyone. Okay. This is what their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Yeah, so that's how messy it's gonna get. Kids are not gonna be at ease. Women are not gonna be at ease. Men are not gonna be at ease, man. It says that their men shall be as women. It says, behold, I stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the child, his excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, and it shall be it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, and neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places, and the time is near to come, and the day shall not be prolonged. Yeah. So that time, that boundary's been set, man, that can't be passed. And this is what these elites of Esau, these top banking families think they can do. They think they can outsmart the Most High in some manner, and then extend their kingdom, for eternity. But that's not it, man. When you go to Daniel, and you have Daniel 2, and you have the statue, then it has what? You have the rock that comes at the end that pulverizes a statue. This kingdom is still part of that statue, man. This is the 10 toes. So once you have that 10 toes pulverized, the whole statue pulverized, then afterwards you had what? The rock that became the mountain, man. That was the kingdom of heaven. So that's the one that's going to be eternal, not some factor of the statue, some factor of the kingdoms of men. But yeah, I'll leave it there, man. Shalom. Yeah, Bashem Yeshua, Bashem Makakadash Bakata. Shalom.